Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm David J. Jay and Janelle have the night off. Hurricane Irma is taking aim at parts of the North Caribbean, and it continues to churn toward the U.S. mainland. The Category 5 storm is already being blamed for the deaths of at least 12 people on various islands. Kenneth Craig has the latest from Miami, Florida, where the storm is expected to hit next.
Hurricane Irma raked through the Dominican Republic and Haiti after uprooting trees and downing power lines in Puerto Rico. That destruction paled in comparison to the catastrophic damage the storm caused in the U.S. Virgin Islands just a day before. Earlier, Dutch military planes carried out relief missions in St. Martin, which also took a direct hit. As for Barbuda, the Prime Minister says his island is totally decimated.
The carnage in Barbuda is unprecedented.
It is now a frantic situation here in Florida where winds from Irma could reach as early as Friday night. Hundreds of thousands of people on barrier islands and in coastal regions are now under a mandatory evacuation order.
Florida will have major hurricane impacts with deadly storm surge and life-threatening winds.
Heeding Governor Rick Scott's warnings, thousands of residents flocked to Miami International Airport.
Just nervous.
An emotional Lily Martinez left the state for Connecticut with her 3-month-old in tow, but her husband Eddie stayed behind.
Pack them up and send them away, and I'll keep an eye on the house.
Gridlock gripped I-95 all the way to Orlando as others tried to outrun Irma by car. By one estimate, nearly 40% of gas stations in Miami and Fort Lauderdale have run dry. Carnival Cruise Lines, which has major operations out of Florida ports, have canceled some of its Caribbean trips. Those passengers are now trying to find a way out of the state ahead of the storm. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Miami.
And Irma is also forecast to pose a serious threat to portions of Georgia and the Carolinas. Hurricane watches are once again in effect for Antigua and Barbuda. And after being battered by Irma, the National Weather Service says it could be hit by Hurricane Jose, which is now a Category 3 storm. Another day of fires and smoke and more money spent to battle those fires. Fires have burned more than 1 million acres at a cost of more than $300 million in Montana. Governor Bullock says this situation is likely to get worse. Bullock met with FEMA Director Brock Long this afternoon in Washington, D.C. to request additional assistance and resources. The governor says the state is suffering through a long and challenging season with the loss of 2 firefighters and the damaging impacts to people and businesses across the state. FEMA grants pay 75% of the state's firefighting and fire management costs. Montana received $3 million in FEMA money last week for the Lodgepole complex near Jordan and the Lolo Peak fire near Missoula. The state is waiting for approval on several other grants. California recently received funding for 5 fires, while Oregon and Washington also received funds. And another plea for assistance on the floor of the U.S. House today. Representative Greg Gianforte asked his colleagues to remember Montana during this time when disasters are hitting the nation hard.
Today I got on the House floor. I put up a picture taken from Mount Sentinel looking at Lolo with the fires raging towards that town just to raise awareness. And I shared that over 900,000 acres have burned. And I had many congressional members come up to me afterwards and say, I was unaware of these devastating fires.
And as fires burn Montana's forests, the debate over the role and the effect of forest and fire policy rages as well. What, if anything, are the political leaders in Montana and Washington, D.C. actually doing about forest management? MTN's Mike Dennison has been asking that question and files this report.
Montana's junior senator, Republican Steve Daines, doesn't mince words when it comes to forest policy and why he thinks fires are as bad as they are this year.
And these radical environmentalists have prevented hardworking Montanans from having jobs, and this just adds more fuel, literally, to these wildfires. But if you do not manage the forests, they become unhealthy. They become prone to wildfire.
He's talking about lawsuits that challenge logging projects on national forests in Montana. Daines and most fellow Republicans support legislation to restrict these suits and make it easier and quicker for the Forest Service to move timber projects. Congressman Greg Gianforte says he's behind something called the Resilient Federal Forests Act, which would expand the types of logging projects with streamlined review.
When we manage forests and actually reduce fuel loads, we have healthier forests. There are more logs going to the mills. That creates jobs in Montana, and it lowers the intensity and the frequency of the fires. That's the benefit of forest management.
Gianforte says he thinks the bill can pass the Republican-controlled House, but isn't as sure about the Senate. Democratic U.S. Senator John Tester says it may make sense to streamline review of certain forest projects. But he believes the bigger problem is the Forest Service budget, which is getting eaten up by firefighting costs.
We get that problem solved, I think this problem goes away as far as lawsuits, because the Forest Service will have the money to be able to do these projects and do them right with adequate public input.
But is a lack of logging really the problem when it comes to forest fires? Mike Garrity is head of the Alliance for the Wild Rockies, a group that has challenged many logging projects in court and won. He says if you want to restrict lawsuits, then more clear-cutting and logging are likely to follow. But he says it won't mean lesser forest fires.
Fires burn faster if there's less trees. If you thin a forest, more sunlight hits the forest floor, more wind can go through, the fire will burn faster. It's just there's no science to back up the idea that logging somehow prevents fires.
Could this be the year when a bill to restrict public land lawsuits actually passes? We'll find out soon. And if it does, President Trump is likely to sign it. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
And Congress is busy, but supporters of reform say it could be inserted into a must-pass bill. Now, turning to weather, it's been months since we've had significant rainfall. Bob is in here from the Weather Center, and what's that done for the drought monitor?
Yeah, it comes out every Thursday. We get the drought monitor, and you would be surprised at just how bad things are in northeastern Montana. Here it is right here. Take a look at this. Every Thursday they come out with this thing, and you'll notice all 100% of the state is at least abnormally dry conditions. Now, up there in the northeastern corner of the state, 26% of all the counties in Montana are now considered to be in exceptional drought. That area that's in red, that's covering almost half as much. That's also considered to be extreme drought. We have severe drought across eastern Yellowstone County and also moderate drought across the rest of western Yellowstone County. So it's very bad across much of the west. But take a list. Up in the northeastern corner of the state, the drought conditions just continue to be very, very bad tonight. So here's what we have going for us this evening. You'll notice that we still have air quality alerts for almost half of the state, western half of the state. And then if that wasn't enough, it looks like tomorrow we have another red flag warning for critical fire conditions, meaning more wildfires could break out tomorrow across eastern Montana because of low humidities and higher winds moving in. We'll talk more about that in a few more minutes. David?
Okay, thank you, Bob. He walked 630 miles for a campaign across Montana, and after more than 40 years in politics, Max Baucus is back in Montana. MTN's Caitlin Corbett tells us why he was at Montana State University tonight.
I'm here outside of the Student Union building on the Montana State University campus, where former U.S. Senator and U.S. Ambassador to China, Max Baucus, paid a visit to the university. The former senator and ambassador reflected on his time spent in years of public service and what it means for him to return to Montana.
Public service has kind of been my calling.
Elected to the Senate in 1978, where he remained until 2014, and appointed U.S. Ambassador to China by President Obama in 2013, Max Baucus's political career has spanned over 40 years. The longest-serving senator in Montana served as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance and played a major role in passing the health care reform bill during the Obama administration. He grew up on a ranch in Helena, and now he's finally come back to his roots, to retire in Montana.
It feels so good to finally be rooted in one spot, and not Washington, D.C. or in Beijing, be here at home. So we want you to know how happy we are to be here in Montana.
Baucus sat in front of a crowd of more than 100 people, answering questions on politics, presidents, and public service.
Just compare notes. I have no regrets. I think the most noble human endeavor is service. Service to church, synagogue, community, friends, family, service. And our public service. It's just those who are serving others, I think, are more rewarded.
The talk lasted for about 90 minutes, with Baucus sharing some memories of the 7 different presidents he served over the course of 40 years. including President Ronald Reagan.
And I started out by saying something pretty lame like, well, Mr. President, as you know, Montana borders Canada. Montana, he said. My favorite film was Queen of Montana.
Reporting in Bozeman, Caitlin Corbett, MTN News.
And Max Baucus served in the U.S. House from 1972 to 1978, U.S. Senate from 78 to 2014, and as ambassador for the People's Republic of China from 2014 to January of this